Good morning. My name is Rositsa Beluhova-Uzunova, and I'm Associate Professor from the Department of Economics at the Agricultural University of Plovdiv, Bulgaria. Welcome to the seminar series. The topic today for you is Bioeconomy as a driver of green growth, conceptual foundations, policy strategies, and long-term development pathways. So, global challenges related to climate change, environmental pollution, limited resources, and human health require a transformation in the direction of the use of renewable energy sources and new production, consumption, and trade models. So, what are the global challenges that lead to the development of bioeconomy as a concept? Climate change, first of all. So climate change and its impact on humanity is an objective reality. In 2014, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change developed a report concerning the combat against climate change, the causes of these processes, future trends, and adaptation policies. Based on the report, it can be concluded that human activity contributes to more than a half of greenhouse gas emissions in the atmosphere and soil. The distribution of direct greenhouse gas emissions into the atmosphere according to the data is respective. 25% for heat and electricity, 24% for agriculture, 30% industry, and 14% transport. These results show the serious role of industry and the agriculture in environmental pollution and climate change. On this basis, the need for transformation becomes clear. And of course, we need to move to new and more sustainable models of production and consumption. Despite the attempts to implement climate change policy, data from the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change showed that from 2000 to 2010, greenhouse gas emissions increased by 2.2% per year. For comparison, for the period 1970-2000, this indicator was 1.3. So, the society is using resources and contributing to climate change, which will cause long-term consequences. So, the IPCC make recommendations for climate change adaptation. They are mainly related to human capital development, technological change, and innovation. Using renewable resources is an option with great potential to mitigate greenhouse gas emissions. This opportunity is considered a starting point for the development of bioeconomy and making it a center of number of discussion at the political level. The concept arose and was formed as an alternative to fossil fuels, and their replacement with bioresources could reduce the economic dependence on one hand, on the other to fight the climate change. Biodiversity. Agriculture is considered as a key sector for bioeconomy, the primary source of food and feed. On the other hand, it is responsible for significant biodiversity losses. The basis for the reduction of biodiversity is the increased use of pesticides and fertilizers, the increased homogeneity of the landscape associated with specialization at structural and sectoral level. According to some authors, the new vision of bioeconomy focuses on considering the importance and role of biodiversity, systems of living organisms, and their habitats. On the other hand, the bioeconomy as knowledge-based and technological-oriented concept can lead to conflict, of course, between economic development and the need to maintain biodiversity. Therefore, to solve these challenges, of course, the bioeconomy must be guided by sustainability principles. The development of bioeconomy can lead to restoration of the habitats on different species, an increase in knowledge about biodiversity, and increased awareness and commitment of society to the problems on this topic. Alongside with biodiversity issues, many renewable resources are limited. First of all, these are the land resources. According to the FAO, The production of agricultural product has increased 3 times in the last 50 years, while the area under agricultural use has increased only with 12%. Secondly, water is also used resource for agricultural need. 70% of all water withdrawn from rivers and lakes is used for agricultural production. This leads, of course, to water scarcity in many parts of the world. So degradation and erosion are also serious issues, mainly due to agricultural use. Lastly, of course, the plant phosphorus is also expected to become limited natural resources. Bioeconomy uses natural resources directly and is dependent on their availability. Therefore, its development can also increase the resource efficiency while taking into account the environmental issues and ecosystems. According to FAO data, the world population will increase from 7 billion people to 9 by 2050. It should be emphasized that in parallel with the processes of population growth, changes in diet are also observed. The development of number of countries and economic growth led to an increase in meat consumption. Therefore, bioeconomy concept can help transform to sustainable economy and lifestyle. In this way, social development can be combined with the fight against hunger, poverty, and establishing new consumption patterns. In addition, the importance of quality and quantity of food should be noted. Consumer behavior and attitudes also matter to the development of bioeconomy. If the consumption patterns do not change, people will neither be able to identify more sustainable products nor be willing to pay higher price for, of course, higher value goods. On the other hand, the decrease in meat consumption could also lead to improved health and lower pollution level. Another critical issue in this connection is food security based on the fair distribution of food. Bioeconomy can solve food security and justice issues. Another important aspect is balance between food needs and biomass. The bioeconomy as a concept is considered an opportunity to deal with global challenges and an alternative that will show a new way of development to overcome the growing population, contributing to mitigation of climate change, biodiversity maintenance, competitiveness, and, of course, welfare of the society. The bioeconomy is a concept that focuses on full potential of biotechnological research and innovation and its importance for economy and society. The use of natural resources and the development of agriculture can be traced back long time ago. Since then, science has evolved and developed significantly. Advances in earth science and biotechnologies are a starting point for the establishment of the bioeconomy. As most definitions emphasize, the bioeconomy is a concept that united two scientific fields, economy and biology. The term bioeconomy was first mentioned by biologist Hermann Reinheimer in his work Evolution of Biocooperation, a study in bioeconomics. The definition of bioeconomy proposed by him and other authors are presented in the slide. So, according to Reinheimer, what is bioeconomy? The study of how organisms of all kinds earn their living in nature's economy, with particular emphasis on cooperative interactions and progressive elaboration of the division of labor. The term bioeconomics, according to Gheorghescu-Rogan, is intended to make us bear in mind continuously the biological origin of the economic process and spotlight the problem of mankind existent with a limited store of accessible resources, unevenly located and unequally appropriated. The great interest in bioeconomy has led to the development of a number of definitions. How the bioeconomy is defined can be considered as important because the approach and the components of the definition are directly related to policymaking, establishment of the program strategies. The definition highlights various technological, economic, environmental, or social aspects and priorities and are related to different conditions and development paths, such as sustainability, green, circular economy, or innovation. On the One of the first definitions that attracted the attention at the political level is introduced in 1997 by Enriquez and Martinez. According to the authors, bioeconomy as an economic activity based on scientific research and implementation focused on understanding the mechanism and processes at the molecular or genetic level with the aim to implement and use it in industrial processes. This definition became a basis for official initiative in the European Union and other countries, including the United States. Although the above-mentioned reports emphasize the importance of the perception of bioeconomy, the definition of what it includes differ. Since the term was defined in 1997 by Enriquez and Martinez, the definition involves expanding or narrowing as quite often changes its focus. As a possible reason for these variations can be considered the motives of the stakeholders or the interested parties. The different organizations pursue their goals and protect various aspects of the definition. You could see the key definitions: European Union Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, the White House, and the Economic Commission for Latin America and the Caribbean have significantly impacted the development of bioeconomy concept. There are clear differences in approaches in Europe and the States, where the field of bioeconomy often includes traditional agriculture and agribusiness sector. The definition of bioeconomy vary depending on the source, but shows similarities such as focus on economic activities and broad cross-sectoral and institutional focus. The lack of global consensus to define bioeconomy makes international comparison and development difficult at political level. You could see on the slide the basic definitions from the OECD, from White House, European Commission. The latest definition, the first definition was in 2012, but now probably the most interesting one is from the European Commission. The bioeconomy covers all sectors and systems that rely on biological resources, their function and principles. So, what about the links between bioeconomy and other emerging concepts? Green economy and bioeconomy are concepts related to sustainable development goals, aiming for its implementation. These two support its application in the context of global challenges, especially climate change and resource scarcity. There is no accepted definition of green economy on global scale, as such different definition and interpretation exist for bioeconomy. For the first time, the concept is mentioned in the Green Economy Plan, a report by 3 environmental economists for British government. Definition of the green economy appears later, mainly in many documents of the European Commission and the international organizations. In the United States, the concept of green economy is linked with the idea of redirecting public and private capital to financing green activities. UNEP defined the green economy as one that improves human well-being and social justice while significantly reducing environmental risk and ecological scarcity. In its simplest term, the green economy can be seen as low-carbon, resource-efficient, and socially inclusive. This is the most commonly used and less controversial definition of green economy found in the literature. The Conference for Sustainable Development in 2012 is critical in developing green economy concept. It turns the attention to the need for a new approach and structural changes in economies. An important role is assigned to the institutional decision regarding how to initiate and lead the process of economic restructuring. The conference in 2012 has adopted a declaration that considers green economy as a vital tool for sustainable development. Green economy is integral because it respects the requirements of economic growth while meeting the needs to preserve ecosystems and social expectations for reducing inequality and fair distribution of resources. Most definitions of green economy formulated by international organizations share a common belief that ecosystems, the economy, and human well-being must be connected. From this point of view, some authors believe that bioeconomy is an integral part of the broader green economy concept, as you could see on the figure. The transformation to green economy is based on integrating economic and environmental policies, which provides new opportunities for relation to the sources of economic development while avoiding pressure on natural capital. The integration can enhance social justice, promote distribution of equal distribution of the burden associated with policy development, environmental cost, and access to environmental benefits. Based on the different review of definitions and development of the two concepts, it can be summarized that they share common characteristic and apply a system approach to economic transformation based on investment in innovations, of course, coordination, cooperation within the interaction between science and business. However, they are different. While bioeconomy places a much stronger emphasis on sustainable development and natural resources, the concept of green economy focuses on the relationship between economy and the environment. Concepts also differ in scope. The green economy seeks to apply the principles in the entire economic system. At the same time, bioeconomy as a concept is related to natural resources and is based on the use of new biotechnology achievements. However, the two concepts are complementary and directed to green transition and sustainable future. What about the link between bioeconomy and circular economy? Another important term actually is the term circular economy. For decades, this linear economic system has allowed society to prosper, but with the highly intense use of natural resources. This actually put pressure on natural capital and has negative impact on the environment. Therefore, the transformation from this system to circular economy is one possible alternative for using limited natural resources with more sustainable economic system. The concept of circular economy was observed by the textbook of environmental economists. The authors find the origin actually to the Kenneth Bowling essay, in which the author emphasized the possibility the economy to be seen not as an open system, but a spaceship where man must find his place in a cyclic and ecological system that is capable of continuous reproduction of material form. In 2014 and 15, the European Union presented circular economy strategy and closing the loop action plan. These documents actually led to a number of publications that observe relationships between bioeconomy and the circular economy. The main focus on circular economy is the reduction of the dependence on resources while increasing the life cycle of products through different types of alternatives. There are a number of definitions of circular economy. According to the vision and perspectives of different authors, definition of circular economy differ. Some authors group the definition in two directions based on Ellen MacArthur Foundation definition and ADA service. The foundation identifies circular economy as a framework for an economy that is regenerative by design. So, another critical aspect of understanding circular economy is the relationship with the 4R framework, or reuse, reduce, recycle, and the last one, restore. Based on the definition, it can be concluded that circular economy main focus is economic prosperity, followed by conservation of the environment. At the same time, the social aspect is poorly addressed. The European Union defines circular economy as an economy in which value of products, materials, and resources kept in the economy as long as possible, and the generation of waste is minimized. This definition is directed to resource efficiency. In this regard, the circular economy can be supplemented by bioeconomy that includes processes and products associated with bioresources. Considering the link between bioeconomy, circular economy, and green economy, it can be stated that green economy has broader scope. In contrast, circular economy is a narrower concept than the green economy and bioeconomy. Bioeconomy and circular economy have a number of common characteristics. First, they have common goals, including more sustainable society. Some authors even consider that bioeconomy is circular in its nature, and it works based on renewable and circular system. So actually, the link between the circular economy and the bioeconomy can be presented in few alternatives. The two concepts are different but complementary. They are fully integrated. They may be seen as partially integrated. And the bioeconomy can be interpreted as part of a circular economy, or the circular economy can be seen as an option for transformation in transition to bioeconomy. The circular economy focuses on increasing efficiency to reduce the resource consumption through fewer inputs, raw materials, alternative design, waste reuse, recycling. In addition, bioeconomy supports the transformation from fossil fuels to biomass-based products and outlines the application of renewable resources in a sustainable way. However, circular economy is mainly focused on the economic and environmental benefits. On the other hand, both circular economy and bioeconomy are directed to efficiency. So basically, a developed bioeconomy can lead to restructuring economic and, of course, to compete with other new innovative technologies. Among the science and policy makers, the concept of circularity also introduced bioeconomy as an intersection between the two concepts. The relationship between them, however, is complex and subject of more surveys. Based on the review of the concept, the two concepts actually, it can be summarized that bioeconomy and circular economy have similar goals, share similar principles, but do not overlap. However, they are interrelated, and none of the concepts could not have been developed without the other. The reason for this statement is rooted in the fact that organic waste from rural forestry, fishery, and food can be integrated into circular economy only through the process of bioeconomy. In contrast, bioeconomy will develop thanks to the significantly increased turnover. So this requires the two concepts to be integrated, aiming at transition to sustainable development. So basically, you could see here the green economy, bioeconomy, bio-based economy, circular economy. This figure shows the relation and overlap between the terms. The green economy is generally considered as being an umbrella concept. Bioeconomy is considered to be part of the green economy. The concept of bioeconomy is early on being linked with the concept of bio-based and circular economy. The bio-based economy is seen as a part of bioeconomy and relates to the conversion of biological resources into products and materials. This is also refers to bio-based production. In some definition of bio-based economy, the emphasis is put on innovative bio-based products such as biopolymers or bioplastics, while in others, traditional bio-based products such as textile, wood products, paper are included as well. The circular economy, which shares the rise in popularity and can work complementary to the bioeconomy, can be described as an economy in which products and materials used show a high degree of recycling and reduction. The synergies between the bioeconomy and circular economy is significant, actually. So recently, the term circular economy has been introduced, among others, to intertwine the bioeconomy and circular economy. So there is a circular bioeconomy now. What about the bioeconomy and the Green Pact or the Green Deal? The sustainable bioeconomy is related to the European Union ambitious project called the European Green Deal or Green Pact. So the European Green Deal aims to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions and the transition to climate neutral economy by 2050, and it contains an ambitious set of measures and policies to address the climate change. The pact proposes reducing greenhouse gas emission by at least 50% by 2030, and the concept focuses on making the European Union fair and prosperous society with modern, resource-efficient, and competitive economy. The Green Deal aims to economic growth from the consumption of natural resources, which is basis of the circular economy. Also, under the Green Deal, there will be no net greenhouse gas emissions by 2050, and transformation, of course, will be inclusive. The European Union published key priorities through which bioeconomy can help achieve the goals of the Green Deal. The publication showed that bioeconomy will stimulate economic prosperity and just transition, the production of materials from bioresources, and the protection of the environment and ecosystems. The bioeconomy strategy from 2018 contains key areas for implementing the green ambitions of the European Union priorities, such as food security, reducing dependence on non-renewable resources, as well as adaptation to climate change. Makeover bioeconomy can strengthen the European competitiveness through innovation in green and bioindustries. The Green Pact also pays serious attention to environmental goals. Besides promoting green projects and plans, support for research and innovation for decarbonization, reduction of emissions and consumption in industry and zero pollution, an important place also takes the farm to fork strategy. Among the key areas in the bioeconomy, in which bioeconomy actually will contribute to the priorities of the Green Deal are climate pact and the promotion of the use of green energy through biowaste that can be converted into energy, including biofuels, more sustainable models of transport through the use of ethanol produced from agricultural residues such as wheat straw, greener industry through the use of biomass, eliminating pollution by applying the principles of circular bioeconomy, green construction, and more energy efficient building. Based on the analysis, it can be concluded that bioeconomy is directly linked to the objectives of the Green Deal. And actually, the Green Deal is at the heart of the realization of the priorities advocated in the bioeconomy. So the new concept is called circular, sustainable, and transformative Bioeconomy. Transformation is understood as moving from a defined path to a more sustainable one. A more sustainable economy depends on the shift to sustainable practices. In this regard, new interpretation of the Sustainable Development Goals also affects how they are structured. Instead of the typical box-to-box presentation, the new logic requires the so-called wedding cake. The European Union bioeconomy strategy refers a new logic for sustainability of the wedding cake. Transformation requires teamwork, broader community engagement, and coordination between various actors. In this connection, the new actually concept is proposed, bioeconomy. According to European Union, the concept is associated with the publication of the Bioeconomy book. In the same years, two Germans published manifesto entitled Economy to the Economy, extending the individualistic approach to a more social and economic view. Inspired by these trends, the word "we" was added to bioeconomy. So actually, the principles of circular economy and the synergies and interaction include new actors, new models, based on collaboration and sharing, as innovation is technological and social. In addition, bioeconomy requires the creation of transparent chains for supplies. The key difference between bioeconomy and the original idea of bioeconomy is the focus, especially the distribution and transfer. At the center of the new interpretation of the concept is the development of the regional and local approach, considering the potential of local communities. Furthermore, this type of economics is associated with the bottom-up approach and creating regional clusters instead of focusing on large-scale production and economics of scale. So the vision of Spartan perspectives of bioeconomy was considered global, and towards this level there were bioeconomy policy strategies. The alternative option is rooted in the regional perspective, relying on specific flexible regional networks, regional supply with food and renewable energy, decentralization, and local approach. This philosophy is based on the proposition that innovation is linked to social and cultural component and develop primary at regional level. It should be noted that each region has specific traits which also have their innovation potential. In addition, resource and ecosystem management can be optimized more easily in regional aspect. Furthermore, the goals of bioeconomy can be better defined and monitored at a regional than global level. The new bioeconomy strategy emphasized this potential for realizing the concept's objectives. Despite the existence of certain research initiatives in the regional configuration of bioeconomy, the level of practical knowledge about the support of the bioeconomy at regional level is low. So the regional perspective has been one of the least explored perspectives of the shift towards the new model. Taking into account different location is particularly relevant for understanding the dynamics of the transition. So the European Stakeholders Manifesto in the Bioeconomy in 2016 emphasized that regions actually are key actors in the development of European bioeconomy, and the bioeconomy can do regions more attractive. Regions are important to maintain vital rural economies and realization of regional cycles. The mutual training within and between regions and more resources for exchange at the European Union level are essential and the guiding principles for implementing the bioeconomy at local level. So we could see the regional bioeconomy model based on the system approach. So here we have four important groups of stakeholders for the development of regional bioeconomy: institutions, companies in various sectors, education and research and development, and consumer. The critical role of logistic, local platforms and partners that integrate into the model can contribute to the development of bioeconomy. As for realizing the potential of bioeconomy, rural regions can also be important. The agricultural sector that is at the bioeconomy heart and is closely linked to these regions is also important. In this connection, the rural areas that provide homes and livelihoods for million people also play an essential role in combating climate change and are the basis for transformation from fossil fuels to energy renewables. In addition, the development of bioeconomy sectors could contribute to creating new business models and jobs and would help to stop the depopulation in these territories. Developing a sustainable bioeconomy at the regional and local level can be realized through new value chains, still developing similar production and consumption patterns, and creating these chains requires assessing the potential and opportunities. Rural areas are considered sources of biomass that can be used to produce bioenergy and biofuels. Much of the biomass is transported with significant losses along the chain. For this reason, new business models are needed to create integrated, sustainable, and circular local bioeconomy. It should be noted that in rural areas, the bioeconomy is based on land, forest, and water resources. So climate changes, weather anomalies such as drought, floods require adaptation to this phenomenon. Despite the opportunities of the rural areas, however, the development of bioeconomy sectors must maintain a balance in this use of land, forest, and local communities are also essential. So what about the development of the bioeconomy as a concept? A clear definition on the focus of bioeconomy is essential for comparability of the results and the development of strategies and plans. In this regard, research by European Commission on the development of bioeconomy in 1917 defines the main framework of the bioeconomy sectors, emphasizing the lack of classification worldwide and even at European level. Based on the research, several main actors can be identified. So the first one are the core bioeconomy sectors related to direct use of natural resources such as agriculture, forestry, fisheries, food industry, and bioenergy. The bio-based sectors, or partially related to the bioeconomy, include chemical industry, construction, waste management, biotechnology, and wood industry. The indirect sectors that include industries such as engineering, technologies, retail, water supply, water recycling. Despite the classification of the sectors of bioeconomy at European Union level, of course, individual countries and their strategies present different alternatives and expand or narrow these industries. So there are three types of definition of bioeconomy sectors. Bioeconomy in narrow sense. White House limit the bioeconomy to the development and application of modern biotechnology and the innovation of natural science. In this understanding, new applications in the health sector, for example, are seen as part of core bioeconomy. Biomass does not play an important role, and it's not included in the core sectors. Of course, in the USA definition does not include food industry, livestock, and energy. Bioeconomy in broader sense. Under this definition, the sectors of bioeconomy cover production, proceeding, or use of biological resources in any form. In some of the strategy of individual countries, relevant sectors are listed from agriculture to food, wood, chemicals, energy, with slight variation. The European Union understanding of the bioeconomy can be defined as one of the most extensive. On this basis, a study by Cardung has identified a list of different sectors that forms bioeconomy. The study has concentrating on the sectors based on the National Economic Accounts and Statistical Classification of Economic Activities in Europe, or Eurostat. They include activities based on natural resources, directly exploiting biological resources, biomass proceeding activities such as food, feed, beverage, wood products, clothing, leather, paper, furniture, new activities for biomass proceeding or residues from biomass as bio-based chemicals, bio-based plastic, biogas, biofuels. So basically, it's very important to analyze and evaluate bioeconomy sectors. So this is the potential and the opportunities for the developing strategies and policies, and to increase the competitiveness of the AU countries. The assessment of the main indicators of bioeconomy is based on Nova Institute data and methodology presented by different studies. So basically, you could see that in the European Union bioeconomy, the agriculture is leading in terms of employment, and the food, beverage, and other agro-manufacturing is leading in the terms of value added. So we could see some information about the European Union and Bulgaria. In Bulgaria, the gross value added from bioeconomy sectors amounted 4 billion euro, generating only 1% of the gross value added in the EU 27. At European level, the gross value added was €657 billion, with the indicator observing a growth by 27% compared to the beginning of 2008. At structural level, both Bulgaria and the European Union dominates agriculture. In Bulgaria, the share is significantly higher. It should be noted that the general trend is related to a reduction in industry role. The decline in dynamics are much more severe in Bulgaria compared to the European Union. On the other hand, the second most important sector, food industry, opposite the observed trend, it increases its share during the study period. The growth is higher in Bulgaria than in the European Union. The next most important sector in the European Union is bio-based chemicals, which does not play such a significant role in Bulgaria. However, there is an upward trend in its development. In the country, the third important sector based on the relative share of the gross value added is bio-based textiles, followed by wood products and paper industry. In the European Union, in Bulgaria, biofuels and bio-based electricity have the most insignificant role. It should be emphasized, however, that their importance is expected to grow, and they have great potential, especially concerning the green transition. In contrast to the gross value added, the employment in bioeconomy sector is decreasing. The structure of employment in bioeconomy in the European Union is dominated by agriculture, which registers a share of 50% with a decline of more than 6 percentage points for the period. In Bulgaria, agriculture forms over 73% of the employment with no substantial dynamic. In the indicator, the data express the essential role of agriculture, a key sector for the country, as it provides employment income for a large part of the workforce. The share of food industry is growing slightly in Bulgaria, while in the European Union accounted for over 27%. Another key indicator that represents the development of bioeconomy and its potential is the labor productivity, characterized by gross value added per person employed and turnover per person employed. The data show lack of dynamics in the observed indicators. For the period under consideration, gross value added per employee in the European Union grew by 31% compared to 20% in Bulgaria. Regarding the other index, the growth in the European Union and Bulgaria are similar, 28% and 31%. Labor productivity in Bulgaria measured by gross value added per person is 7.6 times lower than European Union. Instead of convergence, a more significant differences between Bulgaria and the average European Union level is observed. As for the turnover, there are no significant variations. However, Bulgaria is lagging behind by over 7 times. According to the data, labor productivity is increasing in all European Union member states. Belgium, Denmark, Finland, and Ireland have reported the most significant growth. So Belgium, Denmark, and Ireland are also the countries with the highest level of observed indicator. By contrast, Bulgaria and Romania registered the lowest level of productivity. So Bulgaria lags significantly in terms of both indicators in comparison to the European Union levels due to the development of labor-intensive industries on the other hand and low technological level on the other. The trends in the development of bioeconomy sectors in the European Union is essential. In this regard, the structure of employment and value added in all member states is presented. Here we can see the share of gross value added. So the structure is diverse, with the food sector being the leader in most countries. The share is highest in Malta, Cyprus, and the Netherlands. Agriculture generated the largest share in Greece, Bulgaria, the Netherlands. As the first two is the largest relative share in the value added. In Finland, Latvia, and Slovakia, forestry plays a leading role. In Finland, it is even the most important sector with 27% of the created gross value added. The data also demonstrate difference between different groups of member states in the countries of Central and Central and Eastern Europe, like Romania, Bulgaria, Poland. Sectors with low value added of the bioeconomy are dominated, which creates more employment. In contrast, Western and Northern European countries generate much higher turnover relative to employment, which shows the development of sectors with new technologies and high value added. For group of countries that depends on the productivity of labor and employment can be outlined. The first group actually includes the countries such as Bulgaria, Croatia, Greece, Latvia, Romania, Poland, Portugal. They register intensively specialized labor markets in bioeconomy sectors with lower labor productivity. This group's bioeconomy is directed to biomass production, food and beverage sector. In addition, labor-intensive industries are also developing in some countries depending on national specifics. The second group covers countries such as Cyprus, the Czechia, Estonia, Hungary, Malta, Slovenia, Slovakia. With a medium concentration of natural labor markets in bioeconomy and medium-low productivity. In this group, the agriculture and food industry, as well as other agro-production sectors, are main sources of employment and value added. However, other biomass production sectors, such as forestry, are also crucial. The third group includes countries such as France, Germany, Italy, Luxembourg, Spain, Austria, characterized by a low concentration of natural labor markets in bioeconomy and medium-high sector labor productivity. In general, these member states show diversification across sectors, which suggests a high level of maturity in development of bioeconomy. The fourth group includes countries such as Belgium, Denmark, Finland, Ireland, the Netherlands, and Sweden, where the low level of concentration of bioeconomy in their national labor markets and the high level of labor productivity in bioeconomy sectors is observed. These high-tech countries with industries with high value added and higher turnover. In Bulgaria, agriculture remains leading industry during the period under consideration. So actually developing and improving the potential of bioeconomy sectors require a transition to a society that has overcome the dependence on fossil fuels and achieve sustainable and green growth. Many countries struggle to create sustainable and viable value chains related to innovation and linked to circular economy. So the development of bioeconomy is driven by factors, and understanding their effects is extremely important for monitoring, evaluating, and establishing policies. Several studies actually identified groups of factors directly influencing the development of bioeconomy. Some surveys develop a conceptual framework which shows the main drivers along with the limitation and social challenges for bioeconomy. This framework of bioeconomy also shows the relationship between the concept and national economy. The engines that determine bioeconomy are indicated on the left side of the figure. Policy, strategy, legislation are key in creating condition and regulation of the bioeconomy. At the bottom are the restrictions such as land, labor, water. At the center of the framework are various sectors that form the basis of the bioeconomy. Addition, the ways the use of which is taken into account as a key to sustainable and circular bioeconomy. All these factors influence the bioeconomy sectors, determining how the concept will respond to global social challenges. Several main points can be highlighted in terms of drivers and factors that are key to the development of bioeconomy. Technologies and innovations are essential. These include a wide range of possibilities and in the first place may be pointed to the process of biological sciences. The application of biotechnology, bioengineering together are technologies used for improvement in agricultural sector, food industry, biofuels, chemicals, and pharmaceuticals. This development, however, also raises the question of applying new technologies to modify genes and the need of regulation. Therefore, the development of regulatory measure is important for further process in the biological science. In direct connection with the development of technologies, their application in stimulating technological process are investments and innovations in bioeconomy. The implementation and diffusion of innovations are related to research and development. The level of research and development that actually determines the rate of progress in biological science and other technologies relating to the bioeconomy. An important driver also related to innovation is the growing application and the development of communication information technologies. The bioeconomy underpins a number of digital decisions, precision agriculture, agriculture for all, use digital decisions that can help for sustainable production. Digital tools also provide opportunities for new management models in agricultural sector. Blockchain technologies can improve supply chains in agriculture. According to some studies, blockchain technology can provide more efficiency. The market and its organization are the second important factor that affects bioeconomy. In this regard, the drivers for the development of the concepts are horizontal and vertical integration of supply chains. They can actually influence the supply and the demand of bioeconomy markets. This factor is also closely related to sustainable development and achieving sustainability. The agricultural sector is a key to the development of bioeconomy, but in parallel, the links in the value chains must be considered. Horizontal integration at the farm level can change the market power along the value chain. On the other hand, vertical integration refers to the processes where the single enterprise organizes different levels of supply chain. Further integration of the value chain is also achieved through closer partnership between different businesses where innovation in technology and digitalization are important factors. The development of bioeconomy and the evolution of the concepts allow new supply chains to emerge based on the growing use of renewable resources. Another important driving force affecting the markets that are key to the bioeconomy is globalization. This process contributes to the harmonization of value chains and preferences of the user. In addition, it affects the specialization, concentration. Globalization, alongside with the digitalization, is changing economy and, of course, bioeconomy. That means there is a need for monitoring market forces, market organization into innovations related to bioeconomy, as well as the regulatory environment. Climate change and changes in ecosystems are complex drivers, especially in the context of biomass production. Climate change because of the climate change, an entire region or even countries have to adapt, transform the structure of agricultural production. This factor also increases the uncertainty in key sectors of bioeconomy, which may lead to market challenges. On the other hand, climate change is a driver for new green solutions, to mitigate the consequences of extreme nature of phenomena. According to some research, the bioeconomy can propose new value chains to transform innovation into improved management practices, increasing the resilience to climate change. Products on biological basis usually have much smaller carbon footprint than those whose production is based on fossil fuels. The growing population and the demographic factor pressures the food system. On the other hand, there is a possibility of use of arable land for non-food purposes. These processes affect the sectors of bioeconomy. It causes an evolution in the concept, which is no longer seen simply as replacing fossil fuels with renewable resources, but rather tied with sustainability and circular economy. In this connection, the competition for land to produce food from from the land, on the other hand, and biomass production, on the other, faces another challenge related to biodiversity. These are a number of new case studies and initiatives for developing the concept that change bioeconomy and make it greener, sustainable, more inclusive. Economic development, of course, impacts the bioeconomy because the standard of living and the financial support of the countries and the economic situation, of course, in general, predetermine the development and implementation of number of policies. The priorities of the country's association can stimulate bioeconomy and direct funds and initiatives toward bioeconomy. On the other hand, the favorable economic conditions can support the economic activity, investment in technology, in new digital solutions aimed at sustainability and green growth. Consumer preferences are another key factor that can be seen as a driver for development of bioeconomy. There are trends of raising awareness, forming new consumption patterns, awareness of the need of to ensure sustainable production. Similar trends can stimulate and increase the commitment to climate change and pollution prevention. They may change consumer preferences, greater demand for organic products. A number of studies point out that the environmental characteristic of product already influence consumer, and the demand for organic products is growing alongside with awareness, education, and living standard. Consumer behavior and choice are essential for strengthening cleaner production, and they are crucial for improving resource efficiency and creating green policies. It can be summarized that there are a number of drivers for bioeconomy. Among, of course, the most important are technology, innovations, market, environmental factors, and consumer preferences. Another important aspect is related to bioeconomy in the connection with the rest of the economy. However, some challenges leads to a number of questions. Food security is closely related to the development of bioeconomy, and food versus fuel question remains relevant as science, strategies, policy must find a solution to balance the interest by considering sustainability and looking for the correct answers. A second challenge is the management of natural resources, because some of these resources are not renewable, some are renewable, therefore they must be used effectively. Dependence on fossil fuels and the challenges associated with the environmental are directly related. Politics on a global scale is heading towards green solution and the development of circular economy. Another key part of the opportunities before the bioeconomy, another key part actually is the alongside with the opportunities, there are limitations. So in general, factors of production such as land, labor, water are related to the development of the bioeconomy. The concept focus refers to production of biomass from agricultural sector. In this connection, water, land remain limited resource, with regions where their effective use is a really significant challenge. Studies show that the competition between biomass for food and non-food use is an important conflict that must be resolved. Waste biomass has great potential. The assessment of waste products can be used to measure the effectiveness of resources, resource dependencies, recycling, and environmental pressure. Labor is also an important factor that may pose limitations to bioeconomy sectors, mainly due to educational level and workforce qualifications. New solution, innovation, technological advance can lead to challenges to labor market and require education and qualifications. Developing sectors of bioeconomy would cause human resource challenges not only in agricultural sector but also in other sectors. As an essential part of realizing the potential of bioeconomy sectors is the policy framework. It includes several significant elements: policies, strategies, regulations. Policies in agriculture have substantial impact on bioeconomy. Another important policies are those related to bioenergy. Bioeconomy strategy also plays a large role as they frame the vision and plans for developing a bioeconomy sector at global, national, regional scale. It should be noted that even policies which do not at first glance directly relate to bioeconomy may impact the sector. For example, fossil fuel tax policies can lead to substitution effect. The bioeconomy is also key for the development of region, especially in the context of biomass resources from agriculture, oceans, forests. Investments in this area can be best managed at regional level, where efforts can be aligned with regional futures and capabilities. In this regard, it is important to build clusters and connect agri-food sector with the other key sectors, such as chemical, energy, and paper industries. This creates the basis for building new bio-based industries and clusters to attract investors and supply sustainable bio-based products. Legislation remained a powerful political tool influencing the development of bioeconomy. So all this conceptual framework shows the main driving forces, objectives, limitations, and policy important for agricultural sector. The conceptual framework shows that bioeconomy is a complex category. Therefore, its monitoring requires a comprehensive systematic analysis. On this basis, it can be summarized that policy objectives are closely related to the drivers for development of bioeconomy. So that's why, as far as the development of bioeconomy is concerned, the global aspect here is linked to the concept of sustainable development and its goals. Sustainability decisions in biomass production and application are required on a global scale. The issue is complex, and some aspects were observed in this presentation. Actually, the solution to the global challenges based on dialogue requires taking a number of policy steps. This process has started with the Paris Agreement, for example. However, there is still a need for further initiatives leading to the definition of universally accepted and global context of the possibilities for the development of bioeconomy. The national level in solving the question of how to develop bioeconomy sector is much more specific and clear. The bioeconomy concept begins to develop precisely from the perspective of how countries should accelerate economic growth based on the green solution, replacing the fossil fuels with the renewable energy sources. A number of countries have already established national policy and plans to address the global challenges according to their capabilities. Despite the political will and the number of documents and frameworks at national level, in some parts of the world, the economy remains strongly dependent on fossil fuels, and many policies must find their way to practical application. The bioeconomy brings regions to their essence. The regions are expected to implement the policies and models according to the local condition. This context is related to the current local challenges and opportunities, but also threats. The regional bioeconomy is driven by potential of each region, actually, but the implementation is closely related to the capacity of the local government and the local activity, actually. Each of these levels is interrelated and it's important. In general, bioeconomy should create a sustainable model of production and consumption with more bio-based products because a number of sectors of economy are still too dependent on fossil fuels. Another aspect is related to the development of bioeconomy sector in solving challenges such as social inequality, migration. So developing national and regional bioeconomy systems remains a challenging task, except for policy measures, science, innovation, technology could provide a lot of the answers to the number of challenges. Many questions about the sustainability of bioeconomy remain. However, establishing a political framework and contribution of national and other international organizations can bring green growth and achieve sustainable development goals. So, based on the survey of bioeconomy definition, it can be summarized that the key strategies that form the global path to bioeconomy are three. Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development, the United States, and the European Union embody these three visions of bioeconomy and are the first to develop their strategies. The first published strategy actually was Bioeconomy 2030, Designing Policy Agenda of the Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development, which gives an important path to developing national and regional strategies for bioeconomy. In 2010, actually, Germany published National Research Strategy, which was supplemented in 2013 by National Bioeconomy Policy Strategy. Actually, in 2012, European Commission published the first strategy, and the United States established their national plan for bioeconomy. In 2018, European Union presented new bioeconomy strategy with updated priorities. One of the first documents at policy level actually is the Designing Policy Agenda prepared by Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development with focus on the concept of bioeconomy and its possible development. According to the document, bioeconomy consists of three main elements: biotechnological knowledge, renewable biomass, and integration between them. The paper has clear economic characteristics based on the fact that countries around the world are facing challenges of growing population that have implications for social structure and economy. The paper highlights the need for new model and cross-sectoral cooperation. The organization proposes encouraging agricultural and industrial research by increasing research and development funding from the public sector and supporting public-private partnership. A key point in this paper is the focus on biotechnology, which is seen as an opportunity for addressing global environmental problems by creating and maintaining markets for environmental sustainable biotech products. To achieve the goals set by strategy by 2030, it is recommended to develop policies and apply tools to combine the benefits of applying biotechnological innovation. In this regard, the challenge is to create a policy framework that can flexibly support bioeconomy sectors to extract the economic and social benefits of each type of technology and innovation. The policy in this strategy are primarily related to the application of biotechnology in each of the three main sectors of national economy: agricultural, industry, services, emphasizing the integration and coordination to achieve the set priorities. In this context, applying policy required an active role not only of the government, but also initiatives for the private sector, targeting investments and various partnerships for the diffusion of innovation in biotechnology field. Another important document is the United States National Bioeconomy Blueprint, published in 2012 and divided into two parts. The first part presented the history and impact of bioeconomy in the USA, and the second is oriented to the strategic goals. The bioeconomy is closely related to the use of research and innovation from biological science aimed at economic benefits. The bioeconomy connects with several key areas: health, energy, agriculture, environment, and sharing. In this regard, strategy directs its efforts in these three directions. The second part of the document presents the strategic objectives of bioeconomy and how different financing and collaboration types can stimulate the development of the concept. What is essential about the US plan is the significant role of research and development in biotechnology, highlighting the country's potential to achieve the set goals. The strategy focus, actually is national, it's related to the USA. As a result of evolution in bioeconomy concept, the White House actually instruct the National Academies of Science to identify potential risks to bioeconomy and define mechanisms to track its future progress and development in the United States. The authors of the strategic documents formulated the recommendation to boost the potential of bioeconomy. The first group of this recommendation is related to the need to establish a bioeconomy scope and develop a single framework for assessing the sector. The second group of recommendation. In addition, actually, to the strategic document, Smith Futures Initiative, which is actually a private company, published the USA Bioeconomy Charting a Course for a Resilient and Competitive Future, stated that integration of technologies such as artificial intelligence and biology can accelerate decision based on biotechnologies in many economic fields and transform the economy of the United States in sustainable zero carbon model. In the development of bioeconomy in the USA, the clear focus is on the research and development. Actually, despite some views of transformation, this strategy remained primarily actually really focused on that. Actually, the European Union also plays a vital role in developing bioeconomy by including the concept as one of the leading priorities in its policies and published strategy in 2012. This strategy aims to pave the path to more innovative, resource-efficient, and competitive society that combines food security with sustainable use of renewable resources for industrial purposes while ensuring environmental protection. This strategy emphasized the possibilities of bioeconomy to address social challenges and identifies 5 objectives. In 2017, a review of bioeconomy strategy was carried out, which finds that it has achieved significant results concerning the goals through asset actions. Precisely, the strategy activates the financing of scientific research and innovation in bioeconomy, such as the double support for research and innovation under Horizon 2020, and has led to more private investment and public-private partnership. In this case, the result is more investment in bioeconomy in individual member states. Regardless of the positive results, the review also identifies several areas that require improvement. Concerning the new challenges and link to the bioeconomy to the circularity, sustainability, the European Union published a new strategy in 2018. The bioeconomy strategy provides framework that cuts across sectors and policies, enabling and building synergies and ensuring sustainability. According to this strategy, the objectives are ensuring food security, sustainable management of natural resources, reducing dependence on non-renewable sources, including replacing fossil fuels, climate change mitigation and adaptation, creating jobs, and maintaining European competitiveness. So this is very important. The implementation progress report was published in 2022, which emphasized the importance of all 3 components of sustainable development. Actually, it is expected a new strategy to be published very soon. In the different vision actually can be seen comparing the United States, the European Union. The 2018 Bioeconomy Strategy and Action Plan includes specific initiatives to promote adoption, updating, and actually helping national and regional bioeconomy strategy to be developed. After adopting this plan, the concept has made a significant progress. According to the latest data, 10 member states with developed strategies. There are 10 member states with the developed strategies. 7 member states are under development of the strategy. Other member states also participate in 3 initiatives at the macro level. BioEast, bringing together 11 member states from several from Central and Eastern Europe, including Bulgaria, the Scandinavian or Nordic Cooperation Initiative, and the Bioeconomy Initiative in the region of the Baltic Sea or Bio-Baltic. From 2018 to 2022, Austria, the Netherlands, Portugal have created new national strategy, while Croatia, the Czechia, Poland, and Slovakia, as well as Sweden, their strategies are under development. In addition, some of the first countries to develop their strategy updated the strategies. These are Germany, Ireland, Italy, Finland. France and Spain are currently updating some of their action plans. Based on this result, it can be concluded that bioeconomy is a priority for a number of EU member states. However, some countries are slower in developing and development and implementation of these strategies. Unfortunately, Bulgaria is in the group of the countries that do not have a specific strategy, and at this stage, there is not even a draft. I hope that we will have one. Number of strategies have been developed at national level. Germany is among the first countries to create national strategies. More than 9 European Union countries have published bioeconomy strategies. In 2010, Germany became one of the first countries to publish the National Research Strategy Bioeconomy 2030, a 6-year strategy designed to be implemented in different policy areas. The strategy set a course of bio-based transformation of industry and society. In National Bioeconomy Policy Strategy adopted by the federal government in 2013, the country placed an additional focus on bio-based and sustainable economy. In January 2020, the German federal government published the new National Bioeconomy Strategy. The strategy defines the direction and objectives of bioeconomy policy and lists the measures for their performance. The strategy is based on National Research Strategy Bioeconomy 2030 and to have different political stance into a framework. Two directions support the goals and actions in the National Bioeconomy Strategy. The first step emphasizes how biological knowledge and new technologies are pillars for future-oriented, sustainable, and climate-neutral economy. The second direction is related to the raw materials used by the industry and the need for sustainable and circular economy based on the use of biological resources. The federal government addresses the wide range of objectives in 6 general strategic directions: development of bioeconomic solutions for the implementation of the Sustainable Development Program, recognizing and using potential of bioeconomy within ecological limits, improvement and application of biological knowledge, creation of sustainable raw material base for industry, promotion of Germany as a leading place for innovation in bioeconomy field, engagement of society, and improving the national and international cooperation. Impressive targets close the European Union strategy are directed towards making Germany a leader in the field of bioeconomy. The first version of Italian bioeconomy strategy was prepared in 2016 and approved in 2017. It has been updated and the new strategy was published in 2019. The Italian strategy for bioeconomy aims to achieve a 15% increase in the current contribution of Italian bioeconomy until 2030. Based on the strategy, this could be done by improving sustainable production and quality of products in each bioeconomy sectors, the cooperation and coordination of individual sectors, which allows effective valorization of national biodiversity, ecosystem services, and circularity by creating locally oriented value chains where the actors and actions of public and private stakeholders are integrated at regional, national, and European Union level, creating more investment in research and innovation, startups, education, training, communication, better coordination between regional, national, European stakeholders and policies, better engagement with the public and actions for market development. The strategy contains the European and national regulatory framework. The presence of specific indicators for evaluating bioeconomy sectors also could be highlighted. They included the following direction: biomass, production structure, labor market structure, human capital, innovation, investment, demographic markets. The Italian strategy is one of the most comprehensive, including not only the vision, but also strategic goals and measures for their achievement. In 2024, Finland published its bioeconomy strategy. The main vision of strategy is to increase the value added from bioeconomy. According to the strategy, this will be achieved by creating economic growth and jobs based on sustainable solutions. In this regard, the Finnish strategy includes accelerating the annual growth of the added value of bioeconomy from 3 to 4%, and the added value from bioeconomy could be 50 million euros in 2035. The main priorities and goals are creation of competitive and innovative solutions for the global bioeconomy, generating business that promotes renewal of both domestic and international markets, which will bring prosperity, increasing the effective resource use and material recycling and recovery the waste, replacing dependence on non-renewable raw materials, especially those that are based on fossil fuels, provision of ecological sustainability, social justice, and renewable capacity natural resources to broadly strengthen bioeconomy competence. The strategy describes the measures taken according to priorities and futures of the monitoring. The impact of Finnish bioeconomy strategy will be monitored through indicators in key objectives of the bioeconomy: value-added, investment and export, and employment. Like Italy, the Finnish strategy links objective to results, considering new views in the concept, and it also is tailored with Finland's production potential of biomass from forestry. Outside Europe, several leading countries have published their bioeconomy strategy. These are the major strategic documents, actually, that are fully dedicated to bioeconomy. The first strategic document in Canada is the Canadian Blueprint, published in 2008 and linked to bio-based economy. Canada's first national bioeconomy strategy was published in 2019 and reflects the views of more than 400 industry representatives. However, the focus is on business models and biotechnology role, which have serious attention. Canada's strategy recommends action in 4 key priorities: creating flexible regulation and government policy, guaranteeing the supply of biomass, building strong companies and value chains, building strong sustainable innovation ecosystem. The strategy recognized the role of innovation clusters and ecosystem as a key to progress of bioeconomy. These points are expected to facilitate the link between manufacturers, small and medium enterprises, large companies through the value chains in the country and globally. In South America, Colombia and Costa Rica have published strategies for bioeconomy. The vision of the Colombia strategy, published in 2020, is promoting country socioeconomic development on national and regional scale through effective and sustainable biomass management, biodiversity, and ecosystem services. It is related to generating products and processes with high value added through science, technology, and innovation. For this vision, strategic goals have been set: encouraging creation of high value-added products and processes, increasing demand and stimulating consumption of bio-based products, promotion of investment and public-private partnerships, strengthening frameworks and policies that promote the relationship between business, academia, government, and society, improving infrastructure and management of national and regional level, decarbonization of economy and reduction of the impact on biodiversity. 5 key areas has been selected for the strategic goals: biodiversity and ecosystem services, smart growth and specialization, sustainable agriculture, biomass and green chemical industry, health. It should be noted that for Colombia, diversity occupies vital role, basically because there are, in the country, there are 15% of the world's species. So this is the reason, basically. In 2019, in Japan also published bioeconomy strategy with the horizon until 2030. It closely links the bioeconomy with ecological, economic, and social and health objectives and describes the circular bioeconomy as a basis for sustainable and healthy living system. Because Japan has limited agricultural biomass resources, its bioeconomy strategy focused mainly on biotechnological development and artificial intelligence. These strategic documents recognize that Japan is no longer leader in this sector and should invest more. According to the bioeconomy strategy of Japan, actually, Japan or the main goal of Japan is to achieve the world's most advanced bioeconomy society, but by 2030. This includes sustainable use of biogeneric resources and recycling, the international connection of data, people, and resources to innovative and to innovate, actually, and merge biotechnologies. Digital technologies also are included. The implementation of the strategy defined 5 main directions: new markets, large biodata, increased participation of society and science, and public dialogue to deal with the legal and social issues. According to the strategy, the government, academics, and science must work together with businesses on new innovative solutions. Furthermore, international cooperation is essential to promote bioeconomy and has great potential to create interaction between countries sharing identical values. China published a 5-year plan for development of 4 main areas: biomedicine, bioagriculture, biomanufacturing, and biosecurity. The plan proposed 3 ways to improve development of bioeconomy: biotechnological innovation, industrial development, and government policy support. China will accelerate the development of healthcare, agriculture, bioenergy, environmental protection, and bioinformatics. To achieve these goals, 2 stages are outlined. First stage 2025, second stage after that. The country will offer advanced technology, strong bio industries, broad integration and application, strong resource support, and comprehensive institutional system for research and development activity. China's large-scale and ambitious goals are impressive, such as the emphasis on biotechnology and industry. In Africa, South Africa has a bioeconomy which is published in 2013. So this vision is for bioeconomy sectors to make a significant contribution to the country economy in terms of gross domestic products, through creation of growth in new industries with a corresponding increase in new existing companies providing use of this solution. On that basis, country will be able to be more competitive, create employment and greener economy. The strategy focuses on 3 economic sectors: agriculture, health, industry. It clearly focuses on economic aspect. However, it was published in 2013 when the perspective was quite different. Australia and New Zealand do not have specially developed strategies for bioeconomy. There are bioenergy strategies in Australia, which mention bioeconomy, while in New Zealand, the strategy for economic development reflects to the principle of sustainability and circular economy. So basically, several conclusions can be drawn based on the review of the different bioeconomy strategies at national and international level. First of all, there are similarities between national strategy across the continents. Europe remains a leader in this direction because it is the continent with the most developed documents. In China, in North America, the USA, Canada have also strategies. In Asia, China represents a large-scale development plan. South America and Africa are significantly behind in this direction, but it's not surprised, mostly because of the economic development. No bioeconomy strategy is developed in Oceania. Secondly, there are differences actually between Europe, Asia, South and North America. European strategy for bioeconomy at national level are closely linked to the goals of sustainable development and aimed at transforming society towards more sustainable, circular, green models. In North America, on the other hand, the strategies emphasize on innovation and biotechnology. Although evolution in the concept of bioeconomy is actually seen in the priorities of both strategies in all continents, they remain oriented towards research and development and innovation. China presents an ambition plan in Asia with broad range of topics. At the same time, Japan concentrates on blue economy and new technological solutions. Actually, in Europe, there is diversity in the developed strategies, although most unite around priorities such as innovation, sustainable resource management, low carbon economy. There are also dividing lines. Italy, Germany, Finland present the most complete strategies regarding goals and ways to achieve them. The German strategy is closely linked to European one, while in Italy attention is paid not only on the vision but also on the ways of monitoring and evaluation. The Finnish and actually Latvian strategy, for example, are also oriented towards specific results. The Finnish strategy presents a conceptual framework which shows the link between individual policy documents, plans. So in this regard, in 2024, the European Union published a progress report. According to this document, the successful deployment of bioeconomy depends on local potential and challenges. So based on this result, it can be concluded that the bioeconomy is priority for a number of member states. However, some countries do not have specific strategy, unfortunately. So first of all, there is no internationally accepted definition of bioeconomy. The lack of this global framework may make the implementation of the concept challenging. The ambitious goals set by the United States bioeconomy focused vision and the European Union transformation strategies may face a number of challenges in their implementation. So, based on different analysis, different surveys find a wide spread, different concepts, different visions, and based on that, they can be divided in biotechnological, bioresource vision, and bioecological. The first two visions focus primarily on technology and give research and development a central role. In contrast, the latter vision emphasizes the potential for regional and local development approaches for solving global challenges. The presented visions are possibilities, however, in this world, they actually complement each other. So based on the research, there are key characteristics of these actually visions. You could see that the main goal of the biotechnology are related to economic growth and job creation. The greater priority is given to economic development and over sustainability. This means focusing on the economic component of the sustainable development. The value chains are linked to the application of biotechnologies in various sectors with the commercialization of scientific research and technology. Therefore, the investment and cost of innovation are at the center of this vision. As for drivers and sources of innovation, the so-called linear innovation model underlines the applied models. The innovation process starts from scientific research, and after that, product development, manufacturing, distribution, and marketing. In this vision, bioeconomy is assumed as technological process that will solve scarcity of resources. Regarding the focus, biotechnological vision of the bioeconomy is expected to lead to the growth in limited numbers of regions whose economy is dominated by technological sectors. Besides that, there is connection between the global biotech hubs that are important. In the vision of bioresources, the main goals are related to both economic growth as well as sustainability. The vision is tied with the concept of sustainable development. No essential difference can be highlighted in the two first visions. In addition, the challenges associated with sustainable development are displaced from the concept focus at the expense of economic growth. Regarding the second indicator, value chain, the vision for bioresources emphasizes the importance of transforming bioresources into new products. The use of bioresources is put in the center, and waste management is important. This is challenge is seen from different aspects. On the other hand, recycling, conservation, to biofuels, land use is among of the priorities. Therefore, the key point is the increase of productivity of the land. So it should be emphasized that the present and use of bioresources is essential, but the application of fertilizers, pesticides with the connection of the use of bioresources does not takes into account into this analysis. However, the focus on the bioresources highlights the significant potential to stimulate development in rural areas. Some authors believe that the production of new bioproducts will positively impact rural development. So the bioeconomy includes opportunities to revitalize rural development areas driven by diversification with high value added products. Despite the focus on rural, it should be noted that according to this vision, the regions will also rely on scientific knowledge from research and development located in urban centers. In terms of value chain, bioecological vision emphasizes biodiversity, the protection of ecosystem, and the ability to provide ecosystem services and prevention of soil degradation. The goal of this vision, the goals actually are around sustainability, with the ecological component being placed in the center of attention. It should be noted that according to this vision, the production of energy from biological waste should be done only at the very end of the chain. In this sense, the vision emphasizes the potential of the circular economy and the corresponding models of production and consumption. This vision connects the two concepts, showing the importance of sustainable waste management and the different production cycles. Regarding the sources of innovation and main drivers, the bioecological vision emphasizing biological practices, principles of circular economy. Key topic is bioecological engineering techniques. In this vision, research and science, as well as application of innovation, are considered different and are not placed in the center of the analysis. Regarding the focus, the bioecology vision emphasizes possibilities of rural regions closer to the bioresource vision. However, the difference is in understanding the potential of rural areas and the ways to achieve the goals, while bioresource vision emphasizes the need for rural areas from R&D, research and development coming mainly from urban centers. At bioecological vision, the role of local embedded economies is a central part of the efforts. So these are the main visions. Which are the challenges? First of all, resource competition. The increased risk of biomass could lead to conflict over land use, food security, deforestation, if it's not managed sustainably, in a sustainable direction. Technological barriers. High investment costs, lack of infrastructure, technological immaturity may limit the bio-based innovations. Governance, cross-sectoral coordination is often difficult due to the fragmented policies and institutional responsibilities. Also, social acceptability. Public trust into bio-based products and technologies must be earned through communication and inclusive engagement. So, what we can say in the end, over the next decade, actually, until 2030, the ambition in the bioeconomy will be tested through the implementation of strategies and policies. In this context, substantial support is needed in the form of specific measures and instruments to realize the investment in this field. So, actually, in the end, first, thank you for your attention. But I should say that the development of bioeconomy and the ambitious goals and their implementation will be viewed, monitored, evaluated in the next years. So I hope that all the goals will be achieved for one greener and brighter future for not only for the European Union, but globally. So thank you for your attention.